Okay, and hello, and welcome to another edition of In Between the Pages with James Lott Jr. I'm James Lott Jr. This is my online network, JLJ Media. I'm one of the few men of color who has one. So I have one, so it's me. And I'm the JLJ of JLJ Media. That's right, kids. Now, as you can see, I did not send him a message. I didn't send an email. But we both are feeling our roots, and that's what we're wearing today. We're calling it wearable art. I like to wear colorful clothes. That means something. And I'm glad because we're going to talk about something very interesting that he has done. This man is, talk the definition of a working actor who is, working stage actor. We're talking Broadway, off-Broadway, regional, national. He's out there. He's doing it. And he has this thing he's doing right now that's called, I'm going to show you it's all correct, called Preachin to the Choir, an Inconvenient Truth. It's a multimedia memorial choreo poem, which I want to know about what that. I want to know what all that means. I'm very excited to hear what that means because I'm a spoken word artist and a creator myself. I'm just curious, what does all that mean? It's about that. He has a virtual reading happening through Zoom. Zoom, our favorite thing on earth that we're all tethered to at this moment. On September 13th, so about that. Actor, playwright now, activist, producer, Black man, Stanley W Mathis. Hi, Stanley.
Hey, how are you, James? Thanks for having me.
It's great to see that big, beautiful smile. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So everybody, as we get started, if you want to come to the chat room, come to the chat room, and you want to say any comments or say anything, please join in. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. What helps me out is when you hit the subscribe button. Help a brother out and hit it. Support my channel. I have all kinds of great shows, and people just like Stanley on here are doing amazing things. So please check it out. And we're also on every streaming platform service from iHeartRadio to Spotify and all those things. You can follow us at JLJ Media. So Stanley, I'm going to start off with kind of a serious question.
Okay.
You say, yes, it's a great smile. It's so funny. All right, seriously. Okay. In your opinion, just from, now you're on both sides. Now you're writing, you're acting, coming out of COVID, Black Lives Matter. Where do you think the state of Black or African-American plays are right now?
Well, I'm sure we are experiencing a sort of a renaissance. A lot of the theaters across the country have made all kinds of commitments.
Yes.
As have corporations and all sorts of institutions. So I call it riding the wave. This is the time to ride that wave. Get it in. It doesn't last forever. We're in fashion for a certain amount of time. So you have to grab it while you can. The thing that I hope happened during COVID, I know that I tried to do, is in our own way, it's starting to build our own infrastructure that's not dependent upon the mainstream. You know what I mean? We don't have, when I was growing up in the 70s, 60s and 70s, there were government grants for the arts.
Yes, I remember that.
I'm
with you.
All that, you know what I mean? We don't have that anymore. But in a way, that's a blessing because, those that giveth certainly will taketh away.
Yes.
And so I'm all about being independent and sufficient on our own. I'm ready for white folk to come to us for work, for a change, instead of us always going to them looking for work. So it doesn't happen overnight. Broadway didn't happen overnight. But you can't tell me that if a man like Tyler Perry can go from sleeping in his car to owning his own studio. One man did that with the help of others, but mainly that was his vision and his dream. So we really don't have any excuse. We really need to start positioning ourselves to be empowered economically, socially, spiritually, politically, all of that,
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you
Yeah,
said
you
that.
have to vote. I think voting is, that's lovely and that's fine and that's tradition and that's, our forefathers and our ancestors fought and died for that. So you do that. But you also vote with your dollar. We had ancestors who insisted on that too. That dollar goes a long way when it comes to voting. And there are other groups in this country that don't participate in voting as nearly as much as Black people do. And yet they are respected. It's because of that dollar. It's about those economics. So we need to start putting ourselves in a position where when they're not calling us, it's okay. We have our own theaters. We have our own productions. We have our own shows. Y'all want to come play with us? Y'all come play with us. But, we're not sitting around waiting on you.
I'm so glad you said it because I got flack last year for saying similar things. Actually, because I said I said it a little more bluntly than that. I said, I'm not waiting for white folks to save me.
Yeah. Well, that's my favorite saying. No one's coming to save us, Black people. No. We're going to have to save ourselves. We really got to get out of that head.
Yes.
Yes. The America as a society will get it together when they get it together, but we ain't waiting.
No. And why should we?
It's 400 plus years. How much longer do we need to wait? So right. Y'all work on yourselves. We're going to be over here working on ourselves.
And I agree with that. And that was the impetus for me last year starting this network. I've been open a year. I was working for other networks and not happy with what was going on in the final decision process. Telling me that guest is too urban. That guest is too this. I got all that stuff. I said, bye, I'll do it myself. Those certain networks are not even in business anymore. But I am. Yeah. And I get to have whomever I want on my programs.
And it's about finding your tribe, man. It's, people, especially for actors and performers in show business, we get so used to, because we have to compete and audition and all, we get so used to trying to please people at the cost of our own soul, even. It's like enough already. It just doesn't become that important. I'm glad to have lived long enough and have gotten to an age and a space where I'm not here. That's the piece that I wrote. It's not here to please you and to make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. That's another playwright. There's a place for those pieces, and there's a place for the piece that I wrote, and so that's my voice.
What I like, and we're gonna get into what you're doing. What I like from what I've read so far is that, and what you're saying is that I've never in my career, and people can Google and look at all my stuff. I've been here for 14 years. I've been unapologetically Black while in my career. And it means I also support other Black artists, ones that don't get attention and some that do get attention. But either way, I've unapologetically added them to my rotation of my shows, or the actors that I hire, or the scripts that I write. It's like it's just part of my life.
Yeah.
And I said I've gotten flack for some of it, of course, and I've gotten praise for stuff.
That's okay. So what?
It's okay. I'm fine. I got a little gray, but it's okay. I'm fine.
And it needs to be second nature. It needs to be something you don't have to, think over. It needs to become second nature. Like when you wake up in the morning, it needs to be a part of who you are. And it needs to be unapologetic. We are so accustomed to looking after white folk. We really are. We're always worried about how are they feeling? How are they taking it? How are they doing? How are they? Are you kidding me? I'm trying to stay alive here. I don't have time for your feelings.
Exactly.
I really don't. You and your feelings, and I'm trying to stay alive. So that's what I mean, and I'm sure that's what you mean by being unapologetic about it. When women speak about being women, they have to be unapologetic about it. You can't go in apologizing about it. You know what I mean? This is who I am. This is what I want. This is my voice. hear me, see me, you know.
Right.
Otherwise, people are not going to take you seriously.
Not at all.
And so therefore, we haven't been taken serious for several decades because we're so busy trying to please them. You know, I often said that integration was a Trojan horse. It was a Trojan horse. I'm here to tell you, because before that, we had our own. We had our own banks. We had our own schools. We had our own police. We had our own butcher shops. We had our own nail. You didn't have other races doing your hair and nails. Are you kidding?
I know.
And so people get angry at me, but then I turn, my response is, do Chinese people spend a lot of time in soul food restaurants? Do Indian people get their hair done by us? Do Koreans get their nails done by us? So what is this fascination that we have? See, then you're giving away your own personal power when you do that. And then you want to get on the internet and fuss about somebody mistreating you in the bit. What are you doing in there? Leave.
Right, exactly. Take your money with you.
Take your money with you.
Like you just said.
Are you kidding? So a lot of immigrants come over to this country with a misnomer. They only know us through the white media.
Yes.
So they come over here and they have this preconceived notion, and they don't understand that, first of all, you could have never had your American dream if it wasn't built on the backs of our people. So show some respect.
I agree.
He's coming in here following us around stores and beating us with sticks and all that. Hold up. And Black people, come on. That needs to cease. That can't be happening. I know there was one city where I believe the Nation of Islam showed up at the store.
Yeah, yes, that sounds familiar.
Like East Indian or something. And he had, beat a Black person, and they was like, oh, this is not gonna happen again. You in our hood, you in our neighborhood, and if you don't like us and you don't like the way we are, you can open your businesses in your neighborhood. Yeah. Open your nail shop in Chinatown. And if we want to come to you, we'll come to you. But don't move your business in our neighborhood and then treat us like crap.
Because instead it goes back to the money.
But Black people, you have to get in the mindset. No one's going to ever respect you until you respect yourself. You can scream Black Lives Matter all you want.
Right. That's true.
All you want. So that's not where I've arrived at. I've been there ever since I was in the 4th grade when I told my teacher that Columbus could not have discovered America. There was already people living there when he got there.
I told people I grew up in desegregation. It didn't work.
Yeah.
I was busting out. I had to get up at 2 hours early, get on a bus for an hour, and it's all the Black folks in one corner, all the white folks in the other corner. It didn't work.
Yeah. And so there you have it. And my students, I tell my students, I was like, let me explain something to y'all, because y'all don't understand. Basically, see, you were born after integration. So you don't understand what the situation is. So when integration came, they sent 2 of you over here to that school, and they sent 1 of you over there to that school, and then another 2 of you over here to California, and then another 2 over here. And so you all come out of these schools majoring in theater and the arts with degrees and don't know none of your Black playwrights.
Okay.
Who wrote for you, specifically for you. So if you can't pick up August Wilson and do that dialogue, Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, yes, yes.
And I don't care, look, and we're not a monolith. Not everybody grew up on chitlins and cornbread, but that's beside the point.
Right.
You understand? Because all white folk can pick up Shakespeare and do Shakespeare. Be they
exactly right.
Polish, German, whatever.
Good point.
You know what I mean? So that I have to tell my kids, I'm very proud of you. You're all very well spoken, very well educated, and very articulate. Now go back and get your, you know what? Go back and get it.
That's a great point. That's a very great point. So I
I
want
said
to.
you got British actors coming, Black British actors coming over here doing a better Southern accent than you do, and your folks was from the South. That's a problem.
Let me sip my tea on that one.
That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and it's not your fault because there was never enough of you in a class to even do a Black play. I said, so I'm going to remedy that. We will not be doing Shaw. We will not be doing Shepard. We will not be doing Shakespeare. We will not be doing Miller. We are only doing Black writers or writers of color up in here.
Okay.
Just so you know.
I love it. Now, you made me think of something just now. That's why I love these conversations. Everything you're saying, I'm just like, amen to you. Where's the bell? He's speaking it today. The bell, get the bell. Okay. Now I want to ask you, okay, so folks, let me read you just a partial list of some of the things he's done. Jelly's Last Jam, The Lion King, Your Good Man, Charlie Brown, Kiss Me, Kate, Wonderful Town. These are all works you all know. Everybody's heard these things. I've seen half of them live. The Book of Mormon. Nice book if you can get it. Okay. He's done TV shows like Law and Order, Criminal Intent, Gossip Girl, Rise. He's done films. He's done, so you've done all kinds of works. Yeah. So you mentioned something earlier about pleasing. That's something that actors have to do, right? When you're going to auditions, especially theater, I'm sure, especially. How did you still keep this part of you, though, after all these years? And didn't fall into just being a people pleaser just the rest of your life? Yeah, it was not easy. Sometimes you do lose yourself and have to go back and find it. Okay. So, you're in and out of it, but people of color, especially our generation, we're used to code switching. Yes, that's true. You're right. You're right. You develop these survival tactics, and one of those survival tactics is code switching. Mm-hmm. It makes white people very nervous. Oh, yes. Understand. It would make me nervous too. I get it. Yeah. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like when Latino actors get together and start speaking Spanish. Yeah. And all of a sudden white folks start screaming, speak English. Mm-hmm. Because they, you know what I mean? Yep, I do. They cannot. The idea of them being left out of, so as much as they spend time leaving you out and omitting you and kicking you out of situations, you can't tell them that they're not invited to the party. They are the biggest party crashers on the planet. There, I said it. Yeah, so that's good. I mean, that's good. You created something which I've never heard before, and which I love, that's why I want to know something new, because you're calling it a multimedia memorial choreopoem. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Preachin to the Choir, Inconvenient Truth. Love the title, love the poster, love it. I love it. It's a dark brown man, full face, showing everything. I love that. I just love that. It's like, yeah, show it. What does that mean? So what is this show? I'm very curious. The word choreopoem is usually used in reference to pieces like Intazaki's For Colored Girls. Oh, okay. Right. Now, get a reference. That's usually referred to as a choreopoem. And we're around the same generation, so we know about the theater of the 60s and the 70s. We're full of those types of things. You probably remember Melvin Van Peebles' Ain't Supposed to Die a Natural Death. Yes. I know Mario, actually, so yeah. Funny. Choreo poem. Yeah. Basically. Okay. So it's not your typical August Wilson type of Zora, or type of piece, play, traditional play. It's a different type of format, and it's usually poems. We also grew up out of that period in the 60s and 70s of groups called the Last Poets. My man was Gil Scott-Heron. Gil Scott-Heron, right. Nikki Giovanni. Yes. So that is the lineage that I grew up under. So I'm just using that for a modern day
twist on what's happening today. And so I am using the Black Lives Matter format. As I told my students, you do know this is not my first Black Lives Matter movement. We've been having Black Lives Matter movement since time immemorial. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right, no, I know. I know.
So here we go again.
Yes.
So, but now it's being filmed. Now it's being taped.
Right.
We have that technology now.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, this would be great because the multimedia aspect of it, you can just have a ball with what we have technically now, which you can do technically in the theater now, is amazing. You know, and all the different genres of dance, everything from juking to crumping to beatbox, boxing, and just all of that kind of idiom to work with is what I use to bring it into the 21st century. But the rudiments of it goes back to my upbringing in the theater in the 60s and 70s.
I love it. I love it. I'm a spoken word artist myself, so I love it. I grew up with all those folks. We used to see Gil Scott-Heron live here in LA. I mean, because there's so much storytelling that can be told in a form of a spoken word piece or a poem. There's just so much to be told. It doesn't have to be one format of just a story or an act. It's like you can still act, even singing. You still do singing, do dance. Stories are told.
Yeah, but that in itself is African culture. You understand? There is no separation. There's not even a separation between the audience and the people on stage. That's why we talk back at the screen so much.
I know, all the time. I know I do still. I know I do.
You know, it's just in that's that thing in the DNA. I mean, you can take the African out of Africa, but you can't take Africa out of the African. You know, that's how that works. So what happened, the reason why this became a choreo poem is, I'll back it up, is that once I'd gotten off the road after being on the road for 3 years with the Book of Mormon, I'm back in New York now. What do? So I'm trying to put my life back together, my civilian life back at home together. I'm getting up every morning, and despite the fact that I tried not to get hooked on social media, I got hooked on Facebook. I get on Facebook so that I can say happy birthday to people, because I can't remember people's birthday. Facebook has this fantastic birthday calendar.
They do.
So I barely open my eyes. I'm reaching for the phone and I'm going on Facebook. But the next thing, after you get through the birthdays, the next thing you know, you're on those posts.
Oh, yes.
And I noticed that every day, and of course they flag you because they know what it is that you
they do. Oh, yeah.
And stuff. So I'm getting constant posts of Black people being shot, beaten, tased, dragged, jailed, unlawfully, all of these things. And also I would get a lot of historical things about Tulsa and race riots and all of these things, or Henrietta Lacks, and just, you know, history about stuff that you just didn't know about. And I'm thinking to myself, the shootings and the killings were very painful because you're literally watching it live. So how do you process that? Then I realized, Stanley, that's a lot of trauma you're taking on. How are you going to process this trauma? Well, I would write a poem. I would write, that was my way of processing it emotionally. I'd write a poem, and I'd write a poem, and I'd write a poem. Next thing I know, I had over 200 poems. I thought, oh, okay, so you got 200 poems. What are you going to do with this?
Yeah, no, yeah. Wow.
And Spirit says, you're going to write this play.
Oh, wow.
And so that's what I did. So I had to sit through 200 poems and sort of put things by category, and then sort of put things sort of in some sort of order, some sort of format, like, even though they were poems. And that's what I mean by choreo poem. It's not that people are dancing necessarily in the show. The poems have to be choreographed.
I was going to say, I was going to say that. That's what it sounds like to me.
In order to tell the story. Yeah. So that's how that all came together.
Wow, good for you. I know I was the same way. I was writing songs, writing poems. I put out a book and an album. That's what I did. But you went on to do a play. So I mean, okay, so tell me how that process kind of, I mean, you told me the beginning of the process, but was that really hard to do for you? Because you're not a normal playwright, you're not a playwright normally, you're an actor, you're this. I mean, you're a writer, but like.
I'm not known as a playwright in New
Yeah.
York, but then I realized, because somebody else had asked me, that's, Stanley, you 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 need to go back before you came to New York, because I did write when I was in DC.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I did. I was not published. I was never published or any of that.
Yeah.
Things like that. This is as far as I've gotten, where some things are getting published. But I've been writing since I wrote stories and things and books when I was in elementary school, believe it or not.
Okay. Okay.
And,
Okay.
and I wrote poetry and stuff in junior high and high school. And then when I got to a certain point, I moved to New York. I didn't write anything. It's like I had nothing to say. It just stopped. The flow just stopped. And I'm also a graphic artist. I like to draw. I actually majored in art in high school. And so I did a little bit of that, but even that stopped. So it looked like the performing arts took precedent once I got here to New York. Okay. So it's not absolutely new to me. I have written some stuff, and I've taught school, and I've worked with kids, done theater with kids in school, and I've written shows for them. Okay. But you forget. I forgot. I was like, Stanley, you have written. I mean, you're not published or anything, but you have written stuff. But this was easy. First of all, because I had the motivation, I had the inspiration. And also I tell people that the ancestors wrote this piece. The ancestor says, you need to write this down. And if I try to, and I'm not writing anything tonight, I'm going to bed. Thank you though. And they would be like, ding, ding, ding. I know it's 3:34 in the morning, but you need to get up and write.
I know how that is.
And you will write. And the next thing I know, the sun is coming up. And I've written like 4 or 5 pieces.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? I know how it is. Yeah, the hand's writing itself. The hand's moving itself. No, I know exactly how it feels like.
And it's like, Jesus, Stanley, where's all this coming? I mean, it's amazing how it actually came together. And so the first table reading was 205 pages. The second table reading was 115 pages.
Oh, there you go. Okay, there we go. Okay.
The third evolution of it was 85 pages. And then this version for the 13th, September 13th, is 77 pages.
Okay.
I'm kind of proud of myself that I'll go through and slice stuff out. I don't get so married to stuff that I won't let it go.
I always say I'm engaged to stuff, not fully married. You just said that. That's what I always say. I'm engaged to stuff. And we kind of, always root for something. Myself,
I literally would say, that's another play.
Right. No, there you go. No, I get that. Yeah, I get that. No, there's another project, something else. We'll save it for that.
That's another book. That's a book of poetry.
Yeah.
That's another play.
Yeah.
That's a one-man show.
Got it. No, got it. Yeah. Got it.
You know what I mean? And so I used anachronisms like preaching to the choir. We've all grown up on that saying.
Yes.
You preaching to the choir.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's one of those things that if you're American, you just know that. Even if you're not Black, preaching to the choir.
Oh, yeah.
You know what that is.
Yes.
And then I put / an inconvenient truth, because I wanted people to know that this ain't 5 guys named Mo. This ain't misbehaving. And this ain't Hello Dolly. I'm just letting you give me a heads up.
Oh my God, I love it.
A time and a place for those shows, and there's a time and a place for what I'm writing.
Yeah.
So
I have to ask you a question, because I love Book of Mormon, actually. I do love it. And so I want to ask you, because it's such a different, another different type of play, musical. It's not your typical. I always think of it like there's Avenue Q, there's Book of Mormon. I think certain ones that they almost sound like the songs, they sound like regular, musicals, but they're not. The themes are different, the songs are different. What was that experience like for you? You did 3 years on the road. So what was that like doing that particular? There's some parts of that show are very
Yeah.
R-rated. I'll say R-rated.
Oh, I had the most blasphemous song in the entire show, and you know what that.
I know this. Yes, we're not gonna say it on this show, but we did.
Why? I'm not gonna translate.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so how was that? How was that for you?
I had not been on tour since I did Jelly's Last Jam tour back in 1990.
Oh wow.
93.
Oh wow.
I'm not a tour person. I'm not.
I was gonna ask you. Okay, no, you're
on tour. But when this offer came to me, if I do tours, I do it for a reason. Like when I did the Jelly's Last Jam tour, that was to get that was the house tour. That was to get my house. That's my motivation. So when it gets really rough, I just have a picture of the house that I'm going to buy.
Okay, there you go. Okay,
and I'm going out there and do my show. This particular tour became the pension tour.
Hey, I love it. I'm there too. I understand.
I put some money in that pension.
That's right. I get it.
I'm saying, and it was the producers of the show were very good. Okay. They did it the way tours used to be done.
Okay.
And they treated us very, very well. And they were very good to treat us very, very well. And so I thought, ain't too many of these gonna be coming down the pike for you, Stanley. So let's do this. Get that pension in there and be done. As far as the material, I love South Park. Right, I get them. I absolutely get them. They don't bother me. I absolutely get them.
Yeah.
I know what they're going for. I understand their humor. It's, oh Lord, why did the word just leave me?
It's a lot of clever stuff in it. Yes,
it's satire.
Yes,
political satire.
Yes,
you gotta have to know that. Yes. Otherwise, you will get just freaked out. You will get, and even me knowing how they were. When I first went to see the show, and they dragged that zebra across the stage, I was like, oh. Boy,
I know.
Come on here. And I was like, okay, South Park. All right, you guys, I'm going to hang with y'all because I know y'all got a point. I know there's a method to your madness, so I'm going to hang in there. And so, and then I sat there and then I got it. When I first got an audition for it, they didn't have the full script. And so I went in for one of the other characters, General Butt Effing Naked.
Yes. Yes.
I got that script. I was like, what is this? They hadn't even finished really formulating and writing and stuff. Yeah. This is what they had given me to audition for. And so I did the audition and all, but I was like, okay. But a year later, they came back around to me. So I replaced Michael Potts, who did it on Broadway. Okay. And then I did the tour.
Yeah. And how was your stamina in this tour? This time around, how was your stamina this time around? You had any tricks or things you worked for going on tour? Means that you're going to different big hotel rooms, you're going to different cities. Like, how was your stamina this time around?
Well, see, I ain't trying to fool nobody, but the kids were always, they called me Baba, and I thought to myself, I guess you are a Baba now, so embrace it. Baba, come on, let's go to the titty bar. I was like, no, Baba's not going out with you. Come on, Baba. I said, look, I'm not going to be that old dude in the club standing over there by the bar that everybody's giving side eye, talking about what the heck is he doing here? Yeah. I said, I used to do that when I was in the club. You see that old dude over there?
Right, exactly. Me too. Like, I know, me too.
Why don't we go home? And I promised myself I would never be that guy. And so they was like, well, Baba, you don't look that. I was like, that's beside the point. You are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing at 25, 35 years old. And I'm going to go do what I'm supposed to be doing at my age, which is go on to my hotel ordering room service, soaking my feet and legs, and remote control, and that is my evening. Baba's not trying to run with y'all. But thank you though.
So, I understand.
And then I was injured because I had injured myself on Broadway. I actually tore my meniscus.
Okay.
I was in the show. I went into the show, I think it was March, and around May, I think it was May 11th, I'll never forget, my knee just blew up. I'd never been injured like that in all my career on any of my Broadway shows. And so when they said to me, and I did the run, and then I had a break, and I was supposed to go back and do 2 more weeks on Broadway, and then I was basically done. But they had an option to put me on tour if they wanted to.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I wasn't really paying any attention to that. I knew I had this gig on Broadway, and I was like, whatever. I'll sign that, whatever. I didn't think it was going to happen.
Oops.
Lo and behold, they called me, and I said, well, have you checked with the stage manager here? Because you know I'm injured. Oh, yeah. Well, how soon can you get down here? So long story short, I went, put a knee brace, costume or perhaps some African fabric around it, and I did that show 8 shows a week for 3 years. I think I was out twice for illness, where I was in Canada and I lost my voice. I could have sworn that was COVID-19 at that time.
Okay.
And the other time was when I lost one of my brothers and I had to go home and do that. So I think I may have been out maybe 4 times in the 3 years I did that show. And the kids were like, "You're never out. Oh, that's amazing." I was like, y'all don't understand. I come from that school. You know, we show up.
Me too. I understand.
I did that when I worked at McDonald's, kids.
Okay.
I showed up. That's just who I am.
That's me too.
I did that entire show, and with a torn meniscus.
That's amazing.
3 years.
But I'm not surprised. I mean, like I said, we come from that generation where our parents and grandparents worked through all kinds of stuff. My brother raised 5 boys and worked 2 jobs.
Yeah.
I never missed a day. I mean, I remember her being sick at home, laying around, talking about I'm sick.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
And I had gone from before Book of Mormon, I had done Nice Work If You Can Get It. And it was true to the name. It was a sweet track. Dude, I'm here to tell you, it was nice work if you can get it. Okay. I did a little 2-step. I didn't do no more than anybody else in that cast had to do. A little 2-step at the finale. I had a little song that I sang with the 2 leads. Let's call the whole thing off. And I would come on and off stage as the policeman and chase people on and off stage. It was sweet. And then I went to the Book of Mormon where they had that African dance, that gang. I haven't African danced in years. And my body was like, hello, what are you doing?
Wake up.
I thought we were retiring, dude. What is this? Yeah, so I was kind of pulled out of retirement. And I'd never done 2 shows on Broadway at the same time. I was doing Nice Work If You Can Get It at night and rehearsing Book of Mormon during the day. And I closed Nice Work If You Can Get It on that Sunday night, and Tuesday I opened Book of Mormon.
That's crazy.
I didn't know where I was, to be quite
honest. I'm sure. Let me ask you a question, because
very surreal.
Let me ask you a question, because I have a friend. His name is Wally Kurth. He's on 2 soaps right now. He's doing both. He's doing Days of Our Lives and General Hospital at the same time. So I asked him. I'm gonna ask you a secret. I asked him. I was like, "So do you ever go on set and go, what, you play the wrong?" He goes, "No." He goes, "I haven't separated. They're 2 very different characters, but there have been times where he's like, okay, what stage am I on again? Really quick, just like, so like, okay, where am I for a second? Like, I'm where? I'm on CBS. No, I'm on ABC. Or no, maybe so. I'm for you. Was there ever when you were doing that, because you're trying to learn Book of Mormon, but you already have, unless you can get it in your brain. Like, how does that work?
That other show is in your body.
That's what I'm thinking, right? So how does that work?
Muscles, it's in your body. It's,
Yeah.
So here I am, Book of Mormon, doing an East African accent. And I think that actually helped because that, it really pulled you into that world. So it was actually very helpful in that sense.
So funny. Wow. See, I mean, you're just an example of that people. So I hate to sound like that old guy, but I'm the old guy now. I'm gonna say it. This younger generation just doesn't understand this kind of work commitment. They just don't.
They are really quite amazing because I'm not used to coming to work on the first day and having people run up to you and as if they know you because they can just Google you.
Yes. Oh, I know that. Oh, yeah, I know
everything that you've done.
Yes.
So, and I would have kids in the cast come up to me and go, oh, Baba, I saw you as Schroeder and Charlie Brown when I was 6. Exactly. Exactly. And I'm like going, whoo, when you were 6, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Wow. And you're an adult now. Got it. Wow. Trust me, I get it too. I know I get it. It's just okay. So Stanley, so what is that? Because when people read back like my credits now, say, "Oh, James, you did this and this and this." It's nice, but I mean, I'm just curious for you too. When you hear that stuff, what does it mean to you now? What does it mean to you these days?
There was a point in my apartment. Now I have them on the wall. I had photos and pictures of shows and stuff that you do, and they were all in the cabinet and in books and folders and stuff. And I said, go in there, take them out, put them on the frames, and put them on your walls. You have accomplished something. Don't act like you ain't done nothing. We don't have that kind of modesty. Okay. So it's nice to look at that and go, okay, yeah, I had a nice career. I did pretty well. I came to New York and I was late. I was a late bloomer when I got here, but it took me 8 years to get my first Broadway show. So, I was beating the pavements around here for 8 years.
Yeah.
But once I got it, I was off and running. And I've been very, very fortunate. And so I realized that it's legacy. And the kids that come behind you let you know that, it's you realize you inspired them, just like those who came before me inspired me. Yeah. And so that lineage is important. You don't poo-poo that. That's an important lineage. Yeah. You know what I mean? And in a society that does not really value elders, you get a certain age and you're just useless. You take that old horse.
Apparently.
The thing, you have to find ways to stay active and stay relevant and stay connected to society. Because they would just assume you just go off and go fishing and never come back.
Yeah, you go upstairs to the attic. And also you come back
and never come out of there. But when you look at the Cheetah Riveras and the Benverines,
yes.
Not been doing it, still doing it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you understand, oh, okay, you're a part of something much bigger. It's not just about you. You're part of something much bigger. It really is.
Yeah. Stanley, I could talk to you forever. I'm your new fan. I just think you are amazing. I do. I mean, it's nice to talk to somebody from the same generation as me who gets it. You get it. Right. You just get it. I think the younger folks need to listen to this just because I think so they can get it. So they can work for themselves, know it's larger than us. That we are a village. I'm always saying we are a village. We need to, hold each other up and just kind of, push it through. I mean, that's what we need to do.
They're having a rough time because I realized that they didn't have the mentorship that we had in play.
True.
They sort of got out of college and hit the ground running, and they were just sort of on their own figuring it out.
Yeah.
And I told them, and I constantly tell them, you can't do this by yourself. Stop trying to do this by yourself.
Right.
First of all, it's not necessary.
Right.
And second of all, you can't. Don't do it. This city will eat you alive. This business will swallow you whole.
That's very true. Very true.
Check in with somebody who's been there, done that.
Yeah.
So you can be off the ledge every once in a while.
I know. I tell the kids that I mentor, especially, I said, we were told we had to work hard, and you were told, go to school, go to college, you'll get it, right? So we weren't told that. We were told you can go to college and get, you still got to work hard. Mm-hmm. So I feel like you're right. So for them, it's a little different than what we had, where they just kind of so they got out of college and went, oops. Where is it? Like, why isn't it here? Why is it just laid before me? Yeah. Why are the opportunities just right there? And it's like, it doesn't always happen that way. You have to, like you said, 8 years. Folks, he took him 8 years.
Years in New York City.
In New York City.
The dream girls, the ain't misbehavings, the sophisticated ladies, the tap dance kid, you name it. And I would get called back 3 and 4 times and then cut. And then I'd show up at some other audition for some other show, and the lady behind the table go, have you ever auditioned for Dreamgirls? And I was like, many times. I've never seen you. And I'm going, well, I wish you had, because I didn't try. Trust me.
I was there.
I was beating the pavements trying to get up in there. But there's that thing. I didn't have a school pedigree. I didn't go to Howard, though many people kind of assumed I did because I grew up in DC. Yeah. I didn't go to Howard. I went to City College.
Okay.
So I had a pedigree of Howard or Yale or you know what I mean? Princeton. I had those kind of, yeah. If you go to Yale, Black actors who went to Yale and come out of there, they work.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They work. First of all, they got to pay off those college loans.
Yes.
Yes. Colleges like that ain't cheap. Yeah. And second of all, there's a lot to be said about coming out of those colleges, because if your directors and casting directors and people are coming out of those colleges, and not from DC Teachers College, it's just gonna take you that much longer to get in the groove, So it's like Stanley who?
Right.
Stanley who? From where?
Is he related to Johnny?
And then he's related to Johnny Mathis. And what does he look like? Then they got to put the name with the face, and it just took all that. I had to do all that building from the ground up when I got it.
Yeah, no, you're amazing, Sam. Thanks for your time. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of this choreo poem and exploding. And I know that the world is starting to open up. Hopefully, we'll see what happens with that. We know how that right now is tentative right now. Apparently, yeah. We'll see how that goes. But I would love to see us on stage somewhere. I'd love to see you on stage doing this. I mean, I would come to New York just to see it.
I just want to. It is a piece that definitely, it just gives us permission, us as a community, permission to deal with our trauma, which we haven't dealt with since 1619. Quite frankly,
no, I agree.
There's a lot of trauma we carrying around.
We are.
And and no one's, like I said, no one's going to save us, Black people. We got to save ourselves. Stop looking to the other people to do it. They're not going to do it. Okay. And any of us, all of us who have trauma, we all, Effie, we all got pain, is the line from Dreamgirls.
Yes. Yes.
Nobody's going to fix that, but you're going to have to fix that. You didn't cause it. Somebody else caused it, but it's your responsibility to go back and deal with that. And anytime you are any psychiatrist or sociologist or any of those people who deals with the mind and the brain and deal with trauma, the first thing they do is they take you back. You have to go back. And we as a people have been told, oh, don't go back to the past. Oh, slavery was 100 years ago. Oh, y'all need to get over that. No, first of all, we don't need you to tell us anything. It's not your prerogative to tell us what we're going to do about our past with our past. That's the one thing. Take your power back, people. So this is an opportunity for us to mourn our dead. Every culture does that. Every culture does that. And 9/11, every year on 9/11, they go through every name from the top to the bottom. Holocaust, Pearl Harbor. Black people, oh, y'all need to get over that. No, no, no. And it's still happening to us as we speak. How you gonna get over it? So this is saying to us, say their names. These people are important. They belong to us. They were families. These are husbands, wives, sons, daughters, grandparents, you name it. You think of all those people we lost during the Middle Passage that are at the bottom of the sea, as August Wilson calls the city of bones. I call it the land of Gedi. And we must take it upon ourselves to commemorate that. So every time I was on tour, while I was on tour, every city I visited, I found that there was a story there. When I was in Oklahoma, I visited Tulsa.
Oh yeah, okay.
When I was in Birmingham, I went to the lynching memorial.
Oh yeah.
When you know what I'm saying? When I was in Cincinnati, the Underground Railroad.
Yes, I've been there. Yeah.
I was like, we really do have stories like all over the country.
We do.
So,
yeah, and the Caribbean folks, go to Eastern Caribbean. I saw entryways when I was there too, some of those islands.
Yeah.
Very powerful stuff. Very powerful stuff. We're all over the place.
We're all over the place. And if you think that your ancestors don't matter, no wonder you're having such a hard time, Black people in this country. You don't have your own money. You don't even have your own name. You don't speak your own language. The God you pray to don't look like you. Okay, we can go on and on and on.
I know, we could.
So you need to SANKOFA. Go back and retrieve what is rightfully yours. Then you can move forward in the future. In a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
And I got a million stories. Wait, we can go on forever. This is nice and powerful and Black. Thank you very much, Stanley W Mathis, for your time. I love it. This is Black. I love it.
Thank you, man. I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on.
I totally enjoyed it. I'm hoping to do this again soon. Okay, so I want you to tell people where they can find you, or is this Zoom thing open to the public? Like, what's
you
all?
Can go. It's through Eventbrite.
Okay.
And you can put in Preachin to the Choir and Inconvenient Truth. You can go on my Facebook page, which is PTTC, Preachin to the Choir. Okay. Instagram is the same thing, PTTC with 8420. That's Instagram, and what's that other one?
Twitter. Twitter? You're on Twitter?
I'm not a Twitter person, but
Yeah.
So made me open up a Twitter account. So yeah.
Okay, I will put that in the link down in here below in the description. Okay. Make sure I'm following you on there, especially myself. Make sure you follow him, everybody, and see what's going on, because this is good stuff. And support the arts, people. Support the Black arts. Support the arts, period. The arts are just as important as everything else in our culture and society. I always say it over and over again. We cannot let the arts fall behind. We can't. Those voices are very important.
Yes.
Especially the new ones and the ones who are not so new, like ours.
Yes. Well, my students didn't even know that. I said, do you guys know who George Wolfe is? He wrote The Colored Museum. Have you ever read The Colored Museum? No. I said, he's down the hall rehearsing with Denzel Washington in a play right now. People, it's not your fault, but I'm going to fix that. Yeah. There's a lot of folks doing some great stuff on stage. Trust me, and creating. Well, that's the one thing about this pandemic that I find positive, because I promised myself that I would come out of this thing better than I went in. I know that's the art that's going to come out of this.
Yes,
be amazing.
Amazing
across the board from everybody.
I agree.
It's going to be amazing.
I agree. I totally agree. I'm James Lott Jr. You can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr. sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. JLJ Media is everywhere you want it to be. So just go follow JLJ Media, subscribe to the channel. And again, support the arts. It's very important to me and everybody else out there. Everyone, please take care of yourselves, have compassion, and we'll see you next time.